Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carrie. If you're new here, I would love to have you stick around. So if you have a second after you watch this video, you can check out the playlist I have linked down below. If you like the videos that you see, then please subscribe. But today's video is going to be a chit chat with me type of video. I have had a lot of things on my mind recently and I just want to vent and get them off my chest. I wanted to share with you guys a couple things that I learned from church. And yeah, so today's going to be very casual, so grab you some tea, some water, some coffee, whatever it is that you drink, and let's just get started. So, really quick before I even jump into all my rambling, I wanted to show you guys these cute little shoes that I picked up from Dollar General. Like, how cute are these? They're so adorable, and they were only $5. So, I picked those up for my daughter for church. She doesn't really have any, like, dressy type shoes because we don't really go anywhere that often, so I picked her up some of those for $5. But yeah, so I wanted to show you guys those because I thought they were cute. So if you have like a little girl, go to Dollar General and pick these up. And she said they're really comfortable, so I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, today has been a crazy day for me. Yesterday I got a letter in the mail from the IRS saying that I forgot to do a form and send it with our taxes, so I had to fill out this form. Well, when I looked up the form online, I was lost. Okay, so like I'm 26 and I don't do our taxes. Like I normally do them on TurboTax, but like I technically don't do them. Like TurboTax does it for me, right? I just key in the information as I see it on the W-2. And so that's what I did. I did the same thing this year that I do every year, but somehow with our insurance, I needed to fill out this extra form, which I didn't know that. And TurboTax didn't direct me to that form. It just didn't mention it. So I like went to the very end. It said that my taxes look great. I sent it in. No. It's been a month and I'm like, okay, where's our taxes? And I get a letter in the mail and they're like, you need to send in this form like ASAP. We need more information in order to file your taxes. So I call the IRS and they're like, we don't know how to help you. I called the IRS and they told me that they didn't know how to help me with that form, that they need the form, but they don't know how to help, they can't help me with the form. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to fill this out. Like, I don't even know what it's asking me for. I don't have none of that information. Where do I find that information? From my insurance or like what? And I don't even, it is a long story. I don't even have that insurance anymore. But anyway, so they were like, you need to call TurboTax or call the health coverage that you had and figure out what they want from you on that form. So I spent all day stressed out thinking, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get our taxes back. It's going to be like a weeks before we get our taxes. And that's super stressful, especially like when you're looking forward to the money you're getting back and you have all these plans that you want to do and you can't do them until you get that money back, you know. So I was like a wreck yesterday. And so I get a hold of TurboTax because no one else knew anything from the coverage that I had. I get a hold of TurboTax and the lady's like, okay, I know what you need to do. You need to amend your tax return and just basically redo it. So I did that. So then it tells me to print it out and to mail it off. So I'm like, okay, so I print it. Everything is great. I'm like, I gotta wait for my husband to get home so he can sign these papers with me. And we're gonna mail it off and we're gonna do a paper return instead. And then I go to look at the address that I need to send it to, and like in big bold letters, and I don't know how I missed this, it says, do not amend your tax return. I thought I immediately wanted to cry. I'm like, why is this happening? You know, and I'm like, I was so emotional. I called my mom, I called my husband, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do. I am not a tax specialist, clearly. Like, I have never been through this, ever. So I was freaking out, and so I called the IRS again today, because I almost mailed this letter out, for the amended tax return. I called the IRS and they're like, oh no, you're fine, you didn't mail it off, so technically you didn't amend it. But I'm like, but I amended it through TurboTax. So hopefully, I sent them the form that they wanted, because I finally figured out how to fill it out. And I sent everything over, so hopefully now that I got all that information sent, everything will go smoothly. But I had to go fax it today, and that was just a pain. It was a pain. They were like, wanted all this information. They wanted me to write all this information on the paperwork. And like, for someone like me who does not fax things, I was like, oh my gosh. I was wrecked this morning and last night, and I actually woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and couldn't, and I know this sounds silly, but I could not stop thinking about our taxes and just thinking, we're going to get in trouble because I done messed up, and I started crying, like, and I'm such an emotional person, and it's so funny because, like, I'm not scared to admit that, like, I don't care, I cry, I have very strong emotions, and I, like, immediately started crying at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, my husband's not even here. He's out of town working, and I'm boo-hoo crying in bed. Like, at 3 in the morning, I wake up, and I cannot get it off my mind, and I just start crying. So, I thought that was kind of... I woke up this morning, and I kind of laughed about it. And I'm like, why was I so... I was probably just so tired, and I was just super emotional, but I thought it was kind of funny. But anyway, to go along with all that, I wanted to share with you guys... Goodness, I like lost my voice for a second. Hold on, let me get a drink. But I wanted to share with you guys my church experience from this past Sunday. So today is actually Wednesday. I'm like super late doing this video. I wanted to film this like the day of, and I want to start doing that. So like when I go to church, I want to like film or like, and what I did was I wrote it down though. I wrote down the stuff that I wanted to share with you guys, but I want to start making these videos. I actually had a subscriber ask me if I would talk about my church experience and share it with you guys, and I thought it was a great idea. I want to share it with you, so I'm going to. So if you don't want to hear the church portion, you can go ahead and exit off this video because that's what the whole rest of the video is going to be about. It won't hurt my feelings. I know a lot of people are not religious, and that's totally okay. I'm not a really religious person either, but I'm trying to get into going to church, trying to get closer to God, and bring him into our lives a lot more and putting him first. So I just want to share my journey with you guys on it, coming from someone who's not religious. So, but I'm on my way there. So, anyway, but if you don't want to watch the rest of this video, go ahead and exit off now because the rest of it is going to be on the religious side of things. But, okay, so first off, I wanted to say Sunday morning, I got up. I was super excited about church. We had that whole time change thing, so it was like, I was exhausted, I'm not going to lie. And I was a little paranoid because this was the first time I was taking both of my kids on my own. And my son is I don't know if I mentioned this in any of my videos, but my son is he wants to be cuddled a lot, he wants to be held a lot. He's very needy. He just wants that affection all the time. So I can't really leave him alone either. I can't put him in the nursery. It would never work. He would just cry. So I knew I would have to have him with me the entire time, no matter where I went, whether it was Bible study or in regular church service. But I was like, you know what? Put all those fears aside and just go. You just need to go to church. Stop making up all these excuses. You need to go. So I got up that morning. I got my kids dressed. I got myself dressed, and we went to church with my father-in-law. And he rides with me in my car, but he drives us there. I don't like driving, so he drives my car there. And anyway, so we went together, and we get there, and we are lost. Like, this is only the second time I've went to church this past Sunday, so we're still learning. I'm still learning this church, and so is my father-in-law. He went there like a long time ago, but it has changed a lot. So we didn't know where to go. We didn't know where Sunday school was, and I honestly was really nervous, I'm not going to lie, because I've mentioned I'm not very religious, so I don't know not one thing from the Bible, and I know that sounds very bad. Trust me, I understand, but at the same time, I wasn't raised that way, really. I went to church when I was a kid, but we never, like, read the Bible or anything like my mom did, but not me. Like, as a kid, I wasn't raised that way, is what I'm trying to say. So I've never read the Bible, and they were doing like Bible group studies where there's like these little rooms, and you can pick a room and you go in there and you do a Bible study with a small group of people. And before we did that, I took my daughter to the Sunday school section, and you fill out like all this paperwork, and it's I love it. I actually love it. I was really nervous because I've never left my daughter alone with anybody that I obviously don't know. I've never put her in daycare or anything like that, so I was super scared. But I love this church. It's very guarded. It's very safe. So they wrote down all of my information, and my daughter actually had to wear a sticker, and it has all my information and all her information on the back of her sticker. So she no, she can't go with the wrong person. Like, they match up the numbers on that sticker as well. So anyway, I leave her in the Sunday school, okay? And then me and my son and my father-in-law are trying to figure out which room we need to go into for Bible study. But we had never been. So me and him were like opening up the doors and peeking in, and there's like a bunch of people in these small groups, and everyone looks at you, and it's super intimidating. And I am very shy. I'm an extremely shy person. So I'm like, I don't want to go in that room, with anybody and not know anyone, and everyone would be like, oh, hi, how are you, or like, who are you, and me have to introduce myself to like 10 people at the same time. Like, no thank you. So I was like, I'm going back up to the Sunday school area with the children. And so I left my father-in-law, and he went into one of the rooms. He just chose a room to go into. He went in, and now that I know, so basically what they do is they have church at a certain time, or they have Sunday school at a certain time, then they have Bible study while the kids are in Sunday school, and then they do their service at a certain time. So, so basically it's like a back-to-back thing, like you're busy the whole time, right? So it's an hour, it's an hour of Bible study, so small group Bible study. And basically what they did at my church is while the kids are in Sunday school, you do the small group, and then your kids go into kids worship while you're in the big service where everyone comes together in the big church. But I told you guys, I hightailed it upstairs. I was like, I'm going back to the kids' nursery, like whatever, like the Sunday school. I'm not going to go in this room with all these adults and sit down and do a Bible study with people that know the Bible. And I feel like I'm so scared because I don't know the Bible and I don't know those terms. And from someone who's not religious, trust me, it is very intimidating. I'm not going to lie. But I'm so committed to this that I'm willing to put all my fears aside to learn and to try my best to get closer to God and get my family closer to God and everything. So I went up to the kids' nursery. I'm rambling now, but I went up there. I hung out with the kids. They do like this really cute like little book. They read a book and they do like a little activity, and then we all pray together. It was really sweet. So I really enjoyed that my daughter was there doing that. And then we went to service. And so before I get into all that, I really love the church service where everyone's in the big church. I love it. I mentioned it in my Q&A that it was my first time, not this past Sunday, but the following Sunday, going to church in such a long time. And at first when I went in, it was very intimidating. They do like a lot of singing and praising, and people like yell out their prayers, and it's a little intimidating coming from a person like me. But I will say that I really do enjoy that church because it's so loud and it's so you can tell, like when you walk in that room, you can just feel the presence of the Lord. You can just feel the presence in that room, and you can feel all the emotions that everyone's feeling and all the prayers. You can feel it. And it's hard to explain, but I get like the chills when I hear people praying out loud, or when I hear the preacher even preaching. I get the chills. I feel like I can feel it going through my body, and it's a very odd experience. And like I mentioned, I have never experienced that before because I'm not that type of person, but I'm trying to get into it, and I'm really enjoying it. So I just wanted to share my experience. But on this service, I have my little notes right here. And what I figured I would do is every time I go to church, when I get home, whatever I felt pertained to me at the moment, I'm going to write the date at the top of the page, and I'm going to write what, in my terms, what I got from that service and what the preacher preached about, because like I mentioned, I have a hard time understanding the Bible and the terms that they use. I'm just not used to it. So the Bible I have is an easy to read Bible, and it puts it all in your terms. Like nowadays, but for someone who's never been to church really, to hear a verse from the Bible, it's hard to understand it. I'm not going to lie and say that I can read the Bible. I cannot read a regular Bible. I have to read the easy to read ones, or I won't understand it. So And what's great about this church is they put it in your terms. So they're not just reading scripts from the Bible. What they do is they read the script and then they put it in your terms, if that makes sense. So basically what they talked about, they read a verse, and like I said, I couldn't even remember the verse. But I was listening, don't get me wrong, but it's just one of those things where I don't have that great of a memory to memorize something like that. But anyway, so he reads the verse, and it was talking about putting your focus on God and how everything in your life will deter your focus, basically. Like material things, stress, just things in life, your kids, your husband, even like your job. Things in life can like turn your focus on all those things, if that makes sense. So you're focused so hard on all these other items and you forget to put God first in your life, so that way all those things will be less stressful, and it'll just make life easier if you put your trust and your faith in God, and everything else will come into play. So basically he was saying that if you're focused on your house, if you're focused on your job too much, or material things, then you need to change your focus. You need to focus on one thing and one thing only, and focus on God, and then put everything else second. Like, so for instance, if your main focus is pleasing your husband for, if whatever it may be, or working your best at your job, stop focusing so hard on those things. Focus on God, and those things will kind of play and work out the way that they're supposed to. So you need to change your focus. Was the number one thing that they talked about during the service. Another thing, about the negative things as well. So I forgot to mention that. He talked about focusing so much on the negative in life, and I do that. I am that person who I will hold on to the negativity, and I just posted a vlog today. Today I posted a vlog, and I actually, in the middle of that vlog, I talked about how I was getting negative comments and how they were affecting me, and that's me. Like, I was talking about it and venting about it to you guys. And that's me talking about the negative things in my life. Same thing with the taxes that I just talked to you guys about at the beginning of this video. I am wallowing? Is that a word? I'm like focused on all the negatives, and I don't focus so much on the positives. I focus so much on the negatives that are going on in my life that I lose focus on what's important, and that's one thing I'm working on. So even though I just vented at the beginning of this video, I'm human, I make mistakes, I'm working on my problems, and one of those things are not really being a negative person, because I'm a very positive person, but focusing on negatives. For instance, like the taxes this morning, all the stuff that happened to me with the taxes today was so stressful, and I just could not help but talk about it and, vent about it. But if I didn't, and I was like, you know what, the taxes are horrible. Yes, they're stressful. Yes, I don't like them, but in a couple weeks or a month from now, I'm going to get this amount of money, and I'm going to get to do these family vacations that I want to do, and everything's going to work out, and everything happens for a reason. That's how I should be thinking. But it's one of those things that you have to learn, and you have to, train yourself to do. So I'm working on it. So hopefully I will eventually get over all the negative things in my life. Basically, that's what they talked about, was just getting over the negatives, getting over material things, and focusing on the important things in life. Number one being God, number two being your family, and, whatever else it may be. So, the other thing they talked about was that it was okay if there's things in your life that are holding you back that you need to let go of. If that may be a person, that may be an addiction, whatever it may be, if you have something that is holding you back in life, it is okay to let it go. And I know I'm looking like all over the place. I keep like looking at myself in the screen, and then I look down here at the bottom, and then I look up at the top at the camera, so sorry, my eyes are all over the place. But it's hard to like focus on one area for like a long time. Anyone who vlogs or records themselves, you know what I'm talking about. It's hard to just stare at the little camera dot, because your eyes kind of start getting cross-eyed. But anyway, so it's okay to let go of the things that are holding you back. I know someone very close to me in my life that has had some major baggage that she's been holding on to, and I am happy that she is letting that out of her life, because she needs to. And if she's watching this, she knows exactly who I'm talking about and who this is for. But there's a lot of things in our lives that we hold on to, and we need to let go, and it's okay to let them go. Okay? So then, let's see. Oh, here's another thing. It was believe that things can change in your life, and they will. If you don't believe things will change, then nothing will change. Okay? So you have to believe that things can get better. You have to truly believe in your heart that you will make more money, that you will have a better life, that you'll have a better relationship with someone, or whatever it may be. You have to believe it in order for it to happen. If you are, this goes back to being negative. If you were, sitting in that negativity, nothing's gonna fix itself. You have to fix it, and you have to do it mentally, physically, and through God. And that's another thing they were talking about, is just believing that God can help you. Believe that you can trust in Him to do the right things in your life. And even if you're going through a hard time, everybody goes through hard times. I go through hard times. My husband does. My kids do. Every human being on this earth goes through hard times. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how perfect you think you may be. Everyone has rough days and rough times in their lives, and they all may be different, and a lot of us have the same problems, but we have to believe that we can fix them and that we can do better. Or if we don't believe it, then no one will believe it, and neither will God. So you have to believe it in your heart for it to happen. And then I wanted to talk about, really quick, I just thought this was cute. So I wrote down what my daughter learned in service. So I talked to her and I asked her what they talked about, and she said that they learned that God loves her unconditionally no matter what, and that she can always pray to God. What else did I write? Oh yeah, she can always pray to God about anything, anytime. And what's really cute is that she has been praying, like daily, like every day I catch her praying. I'll hear her praying to herself, and I think it's so great that I'm making this change in our lives, and it's affecting my children as well in a great way, because the other day she prayed that Daddy could come home, because Daddy was at work, and she's like, I pray that Daddy could get home. I miss him and I love him, and please bring my daddy home from work. I just thought it was super sweet. And every night she prays before bed, and she always prays that she loves us, and she thanks God for giving us, to her mommy and daddy and her brother and her nephew, or not her nephew, her cousin and her aunts and uncles. She goes through like the whole list of everybody. Our prayers are very long at nighttime, but I love it and she loves it. So I really have been enjoying church, and I like talking about it because I feel like not only I could be helping you guys in some way, anybody out there who needs to hear that they need to let people go, or they need to believe that things can happen, whatever it may be, anything I talk about, I feel like it could help someone. But this is not only for you guys, but this is for me too, to look back on hard times, and I can just remind myself when I watch this video, like, hey, if you want things to get better in your life, then you have to believe it. You can't sit in the negative things. You can't expect God to do things in your life if you don't ask Him to, if you don't want Him to, and if you don't believe it in your own heart. It's not going to happen. So I'm really enjoying it. I really want to share my journey with you guys, because I feel like there's so many people like me out there who were really intimidated going into church or whatever it may be. So maybe I can help you get out of your shell and go for the first time. Who knows? Or you can just learn what I've learned through my channel. Who knows? But yeah, we're supposed to go to church tonight. So if we go, which I hope we do, my husband will be a little late if we do go, because he's still out of town, so he's supposed to be back tonight. But hopefully we can make it to church tonight. But if not, we will for sure go on Sundays. Every single Sunday, I am not missing church. I don't care. Unless I am super sick, I am going, or out of town. I'm going to church, and I will share with you guys what I learned. And if I don't go to church, then I will at least make some part of my day a part of learning something from the Bible, or praying, or talking to God, or watching a video on YouTube, watching something, or listening to the radio. They have Christian channels, Christian songs, all different types of music that you can listen to that kind of help, it gives you worship, but without even having to go to church. So you don't physically have to go, but what's nice is when you do go, it's a completely different feeling than you would get at home, watching a video or listening to music. There's something about going to church with all the other people who are doing the same thing you're doing, and spending that time with God in church. It's just something unbelievable about it, and it's so hard to explain. And And I can't even believe I'm talking about this, to be honest. Like, I am shocked at myself. I'm proud of myself because I'm not even the type of person who would take this step and go. You know what I mean? I am such a homebody. I like to go out and do things, but going out of my shell to go to church after all my years of not going, and then not only that, but I've had like experiences where I've went into churches and I felt completely judged, and I felt uncomfortable because I'm not one to wear like dresses and stuff like that. Like, I'm jeans and a shirt type of girl, and this is the one church that I've went to that everybody wears whatever they want, and you're not judged by how you look, you're not judged by what you have. You know, and that's what I needed. I needed to find a church like that. So you can always look in, like on Facebook, and find churches that are like that. Get in like a Facebook group and ask people, you know, is there any churches around here that are, you know, you can even say it. I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt anyone's feelings that aren't judgmental, because there are a lot of judgy type of churches out there, and I know that for a fact because I've been to them. And I've walked into them and I've like walked right back out because it's just not my type of thing. So, anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now. I really wanted to get those things off my chest, and I'm glad I did. I hope you guys enjoyed this chit chat with me. If you didn't, that's totally okay. You don't have to watch any more of my chit chat videos. It will not hurt my feelings. But if you did, give me a thumbs up, please. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, you guys.